Hey everyone, I'm Charlie, and joining me today is the non-based teenage powerhouse, Kaiyah Mercedes. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I am really good. I am loving it, and I am loving your latest track, Manic. It is your first single since your album Trying to Hate You, which came out last year. Loved that album, and I love this new track. It's a really powerful piece, kind of hinting towards a new angsty musical direction for you. Could you tell us more about Manic?
Yeah, Manic was definitely the start of a new era for me. I wrote it with my producer Satali, who I worked on Trying to Hate You with, and we kind of just sat down and we were both kind of in a space where we were like, we need to get some like emotions out, some emotions that we haven't really talked about in songs before. I'd only ever really talked about being sad, and I needed to talk about being angry and being manic and feeling out of control of my life after I'd gone through a breakup. And this is what came out. And I'm obsessed with the difference in genre. I'm loving being in more of a rock vibe. It's so fun to play on stage, and it's so fun to like have this new way to express my feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so cathartic, like as a listener, to turn it on and be like, yes, I'm not crying this time. I'm like screaming along.
I think everyone's feeling a bit of relief that they're not crying this time.
Yeah, there's been a shift in the world. We have a lot of feelings and we need to get them out. And yeah, you mentioned it's more of like a rockier tone. You've been citing some absolutely impeccable references from Olivia Rodrigo to The Boys. What was really that inspiration to go, yes, it's a new direction. I'm going to be loud and I'm going to be proud of it?
I kind of have never really thought about changing genres in the way that I like am like, okay, this next album's gonna be pop. I started as more of a singer-songwriter, like very much like folky vibe, and then naturally made the transition into pop, and now I've naturally made the transition into rock, not because I've wanted to change genres, but because I feel like that's what the songs dictate and
Mm.
what themes dictate. And I never want to hold myself back in being like, oh no, I'm a pop singer or like I'm an indie singer. If the songs feel like they deserve different production and different instruments, then I want to follow that because I feel like that's what brings out the emotion and the themes of the song. And I feel like that's how the song best exists.
No, I totally get that. And like some things you look at and you'd be like, I can see like a sadder version of this, but also I don't want to. We need to embrace this. I love
And
that so much.
I've never even mentioned this before, but
Mm.
Manic was not like a song that Satali and I wrote kind of out of the blue. I'd actually written like a piano song, and I think it was called like Mania or something, but it was like
Mm.
about the same. We pulled a lot of lyrics from that, but it was like a sad like piano thing. I completely forgot about that until just now.
Yeah.
And we kind of, Satali was like, no, this is not happening. And then pulled out
Mhm.
a guitar and we like changed it around. And then pretty much what we wrote as Manic the first time we sat down and wrote is kind of what it is now, like
Mm.
lyrically and lyrically, which, yeah, as you like, songs can exist sadder, but
Mm.
they can be manipulated to be better. I would have never released that first version.
Yeah, that's so valid. And do you think if you could like go back and speak to the version of you who wrote that sadder version that day, what would you think now being like, whoa, I have this like pop rock song out there, people are really loving it. How would you feel to know that?
I think it would have just like back then I was really still feeling quite anxious about reaching out to people and writing with other people. Like songwriting had
Mm.
always been just me. And stepping out of my comfort zone to like write with someone else and put my feelings out there. It's a very vulnerable space. I think it would have just like made me feel a bit better. Like it's okay, you can write with other people without feeling really scared because great things come out of it.
Mm. Yeah, that's so interesting. Do you think you would have ever tapped into this angstier side by yourself, just like in your own individual writing sessions? Or do you think you needed kind of that push of collaboration?
I think some of the songs that I'd written around Manic, definitely were angstier, but not in the way of being like, it's hard to explain. They were angsty, but still in a sad way.
Yeah.
Definitely still expressing like more anger, but sounding more on the sad side. And I think working with Satali, who she's an amazing guitarist, and I play guitar and piano, but I'm more of a singer-songwriter level where I've taught myself. I've never had formal lessons. And so sometimes I still feel confined in a little box of, okay, I'm capped at my skill level. Working with people who are also amazing instrumentalists as well as lyricists really helps me push the boundaries of my songwriting, because I have a basis of more complex melodies and chords in the actual song itself to help me expand my lyricism, which I think is something that's really made me excited to work with more people in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of my favorite songs have come out of like surprise collaborations, or like we didn't even intend to like make a song to release. We just sat down, got the feelings out. I love that so much.
Yeah, that's
And
how
you,
Satali quite a lot.
yeah. And it's the most freeing experience to really like sit down with someone and both get the same sort of thing out of your system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you have been releasing music for quite a few years now. As you mentioned, you've kind of had a bit of a metamorphosis through your career. You began your journey in possibly the best but the worst time to do it, during the lockdown, where you had all that time to pour into music. You were 13 years old. How important do you feel that music is to young people, especially as a tool for like self-discovery?
I think it's so important. I mean, COVID was something that hopefully we never experience again. It was a very once in a lifetime thing. Like, it's not an experience that's really been had before, especially in an age like today where everything's so connected. And so I spent a lot of time online trying to discover myself. You know, you have all of this time seeing other people, seeing their lives, and trying to figure out who I am. I'd literally just done year 7 at school. I'd only just started high school. COVID hit when I was in year 8. I was such a young teenager. I didn't know I was queer. I didn't know I was autistic. I looked nothing like I look now because I was still like stuck in this box of social conformity.
Yeah.
And, you know, I became very active on social media and realized that I love music. And I'd always loved music as a listener, but I realized I loved music and wanted to create it. I'd been writing silly songs since I was a kid, but it was the first time I sat down and taught myself the piano and taught myself the guitar. I said, Mom, I want a guitar for my birthday. And I got a guitar and I played until my fingers bled, literally. And it was so beautiful to be able to actually put into words the things that I'd never been able to say, because I am autistic and I really struggle to communicate my feelings a lot of the time. But I find when I'm doing it creatively, it almost removes this barrier for me. I can do it in a way that's art, not just saying my feelings. And I think it was important for me to be able to do that for myself, but also being able to communicate with the people I love and my friends through music was a really amazing thing for me. And even just a lot of my friends that I have now, I met through music, because young people bond together so much through mutual love of music. I think it's just really important that young people can express themselves through music, whether they listen to it or make it or play it. Like, having spaces for young people to connect is why I have a lot of the friends that I have now. And I think it's really important to cultivate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything with your story of like how you got in, to music is like the same for me. I was a similar age at the like similar time, we're like the same age. And I remember fully sitting there being like, I can embrace this now. I have the time to like pour my heart and soul into the industry, discovering the local scene. And everything you said is so important. I've noticed you have formed a little like community around your music, your live shows. You send out the like loveliest emails in your little email chain. I am honestly so jealous that I'm not closer to you to go to shows. Like, I want to head to one of your shows and feel that energy in the crowd because you set up such a safe space for younger people, for queer people, neurodivergent people in the local younger music scene. And it is so admirable to watch.
Thank you so much. That's actually so nice to hear. I think I've always admired people who are just unafraid to be themselves. And I found that, you know, there's a lot of people who are scared to be truly themselves because they think that that's what will make them feel more lonely. But I found the exact opposite by talking about the things that a lot of people are afraid to talk about and just like being completely open about my mental health and being neurodivergent and queer and all this and that. People feel like they're not alone anymore and people are drawn to that, and you do form communities. I know people at my show have, you know, formed connections by coming to my show, and it makes me so happy to think that I can make a space for people to know that if they're in a room watching me on stage, that no one else in that room is going to judge you for anything.
Yeah. Oh, it's so special. Those are my favorite types of shows to go to, my favorite types of artists to support, because it's such a genuine thing. You actually feel so connected to the artist, to the music, to everyone else. Oh, it's so special. Thank you so much for making this space for people, because even not going to a show, even just watching it online, I'm like, I love that. I love the energy. I love the space you create.
Well, I'm hoping that I can do more shows in other places, so hopefully you can come to a show at some point.
Absolutely. We're going to bring you to Brisbane and it's going to be great. And yeah, you've talked a lot about the community, the sort of connection you can foster with your audience, but we are living in a really crazy time for the live music scene in Australia. Funding is being thrown away from our communities. Venues are closing, festivals are floundering. It is terrifying to be a young person in this scene right now. How do you feel as an artist who there's still so much for you to conquer, so many people to discover you and fall in love with your music? How do you kind of feel at this point of your career looking out into the scene that's kind of not doing the best right now?
It is scary. I have obviously been in this scene since I was 13, and it's funny because my year 12 like thing to study for analyzing argument or whatever it was actually the festival scene in Australia, which was really funny because I had firsthand experience. But I actually learned a lot more about it through some of those articles as well. And, you know, it's definitely a little bit of doom and gloom. As someone who's definitely I'm still starting out my career. I'm only 18. I have so many more years to go, but I'm seeing even like artists who have been around for decades who are seeming worried and who are struggling, and it's definitely hard to see because those people shouldn't be struggling. Those should be people in our music scene who are being uplifted and put on every stage. I think, you know, even the Gasometer in Melbourne is close, which is a venue that I reached out to for my Manic show. It's an amazing Melbourne venue that's closing down now, which is really sad to see. I think we need to like keep helping out our local venues. I know the Berkey, where I'm doing my Manic show, I've played there like 10 times in the past couple of years. And, you know, if by playing shows at these local venues, although it can be really hard sometimes with, how much it can cost and some of the challenges that come with putting on shows, like even going and supporting these shows, it helps the venues. It helps the venue stay afloat. Buying a couple drinks helps the venue stay afloat. And, everyone's struggling. There's a cost of living crisis and there's a music scene crisis. It's kind of all around bad.
Oh, but it's terrible right now. The world is not our friend.
It's really not. But like whatever little bits that we can do to support our local artists, to support music venues, it'll all help. Every little bit counts. Just attending shows helps the musician and the venue. Like ticket sales, like a percentage of that goes to the venue, which helps them stay afloat. So like literally to anyone who's scared to go to live music, or like it's usually $20 and it'll help people immensely.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a tricky time, like especially with so many younger fans like turning 18 and being able to go to their first like big girl show, and it's like, oh, everything's closing, everything's dwindling, and it's so heartbreaking as a young person to watch it all and be like, this is supposed to be my future, it's supposed to be my time, and there will be a change. I can feel it. We just need to keep trying.
I agree. And I mean, as we were talking about earlier, starting up in COVID, usually the rite of passage for a new musician is you go and play a bunch of shows and then you start writing and then you record music. And I did it completely backwards. I started writing and then released an album because I physically couldn't play shows. I didn't play my first show until I was like nearly 15. It's all backwards. Then you start off your career stuck in lockdown, seeing all these venues shutting down, and it's very disheartening. But I think we just need to like really talk about this, and as we're doing now, we need to advocate support for these music venues, because I mean at this point I think that's the best way to help keep the music scene alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I recently up here, we have had a lot of big venues close, and as someone working in the scene, it's like, oh, that was the first place I ever sold merch. That was my first 18 plus show. That was all these like first and fundamental experiences are closing down. And then you talk to people who are like, I never actually got the opportunity to have that because that venue didn't exist for me. And it's terrifying, it really is. But during all of this crazy hectic times, what has been your sort of silver lining? What is the hope you can look towards in this scene, that there's still something good and there's still something to look forward to?
I think that people, everyone in the music industry is feeling the same. It's not like this is a couple young people who are scared about the music industry. It's everyone. But also the fans are feeling the same thing. Everyone who loves music has the same understanding of what's going on, and we're not alone in that, and people still love music. They're just losing ways to access it. And so I think because there's that understanding that we all want the same thing, it's hopefully easier for us to rebuild this music scene and keep it alive. The fans want to come to shows and they want to listen to us and they want to hear our music, and we want to play for them. We want to meet them. We want to be in the same space. So I think, encouraging people at shows to like support venues and support us, I think it's going to happen. It's able to happen because we all want the same thing in the end.
Absolutely. That's the fundamental thing to remember. Like, we're not fighting against each other. We're all together at the same point. And the only people to fight against is like literally like cost of living. And it's the money, it's the opportunities, because that's half of why everything's dwindling. It's not because people don't care. And it's really special to see in every different community how there are those groups and those organizations. Up here, we have a lot of reliance on community radio, and our local community radio station is kind of like the backbone of half of the local music, local vibrancy. And I know down in Naarm, you'll have a lot of amazing things like The Push, who really support young people. You've got your community radio stations as well. So many more opportunities to connect with the local scene as well. So there is so many good things that we can still look towards in this time. And hopefully these things only get stronger. And like these organizations, yeah.
Yeah.
But on more of a positive note, I would love, 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 love to hand over our playlist of the week and give you some space to shout out what local acts you've been listening to and loving lately and who you think we are also going to absolutely love.
I have always been obsessed with LIE, who I actually was lucky enough to do a song with on my last album. She is up in Brisbane, yeah. And oh my god, I like literally listen to her songs on repeat. I have listened to her songs on repeat for like, the last 3 years. Like I cannot express. Like even my brother and my mum are like obsessed with her. Honestly, if I can shout her out, I will at the moment. I love her.
I love that so much. Yeah. And that's the way it's got to be. You've got to have that support for each other. And then when that support comes back as well, it's like, wow, like me too. Thank you.
I find it crazy sometimes that I actually did a song with her because I listen to her stuff and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. Like, I can't even express like how, yeah, I feel so lucky that I actually know her because I listen to her stuff and it's like, no way I should actually know this person. I'm a fan. Like,
Yes.
I'm an actual fan.
That's such a crazy thing about the local scene. It's like, oh my God, these people are like everything I listen to. Like I go out and I'm like casually walking past the person who is like the top of my Spotify listening. And I'm just like,
but it's like, they're not a celebrity. Like if you went and said hi, they'd be like a fan meeting you.
Yes.
Like whenever there's been a couple times where I've had people recognize me. I literally got recognized at Yaya's, which is like a club in Melbourne. And the way that I was like, it was like I was meeting them. I was like so excited. Like it was so crazy.
Yeah, it's such a freaky thing to be like, people actually listen to like your music. People actually like know who you are.
Like those streams are real people. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, I love that, like watching local artists, like their face light up when a room fills up at a show. They're like, oh my God, these people are actually here to like see me perform. It's the best feeling as like a fan of these people. And yeah, I discovered you through Triple J Unearthed only last year, which is kind of like, I wish I discovered you earlier because having someone your own age releasing music about your own experiences is such a special thing to have. But the power of community really brings together this scene and I love it so much.
Yeah, I definitely, that bass lighting up. My last show the Trying to Hate You album launch, I actually did at the Berkey as well. And I was so sick. I had laryngitis and tonsillitis, but I didn't want to cancel the show the morning of, and so I did it. My voice had literally gone the night before at a show. I literally couldn't talk, like stuff wouldn't come out of my mouth. And I was like so nervous. Our ticket sales were pretty bad because people always buy tickets last minute or at the door now. So
people need to change that. Buy tickets in advance.
Exactly, because it freaks us out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, there's going to be 20 people at the show. I'm sick. It's going to be a bad show.
Yeah.
And I always, before shows, will sit in like the green room out the back. And like, I need to have my moment. I can't mingle before a show. I just need to like, and then I can talk after as much as everyone wants. And I remember walking out onto the stage and there was like nearly 90 people in this room. And I was like, my whole band's faces were like, and I had no idea until I was about to go play my first song. And yeah, I don't think people understand, like, seeing a room full of
Yeah.
people who know your songs, and I would see people like singing along with me, like, this is all I've ever dreamed of, and it's happening. Like it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
Oh, I love that so much. It's so special. Yeah, get out to a show, people. Like, if you can, if you see a local artist, even if you haven't ever heard of them before, look them up, listen to a song, buy that ticket, get out there, sing along, dance along. What else can you do? That is literally making people's dreams come true.
Yeah, and you'll probably just discover musicians that will end up on your Spotify Wrapped. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's so many amazing musicians in Melbourne. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, well, around Australia as well,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I know a lot of.
Nah, the Melbourne scene is something I'm so jealous of because I like literally 70% of what I listen to is like local indie artists based in the Melbourne scene, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Nah, it's so special. But yeah, thank you so much for making the time to chat today. I, yeah, love Manic. Honestly, I'm predicting that will be up there on my Spotify Wrapped because I have listened to it far too much already. It is so good.
Thank you. I love that you love it. I hope that I see it on your Spotify now.
Hey, I am a raging Aries and we have entered Aries season, so that song is like pumping right now.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much for making the time to chat. And yeah, hopefully you do get to bring your shows onto it because I would love to see you. I am so proud watching what you're doing. It almost feels like the moment where you can like point to someone and be like, oh my God, like this is so cool. I know this person. They're doing amazing things.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh my God.
But yeah, keep doing amazing things. And yeah, I hope to chat with you soon. Maybe when we've got some new music coming out.
Yes, definitely.